Yo, is software engineering cooked? It's a serious question I'm asking myself because for the past 5 years, almost 6 years, I worked in a mid tier company as a software engineer. I considered myself pretty successful and pretty efficient, to be honest, a really good engineer for the company. And I never thought that I would get laid off. But unfortunately, about a month ago, I was laid off with no warning from the company I had really poured a lot of effort and time into. And I thought to myself, you know what? Dang, they let me go. I'll go out there, I'll find another job. It will be easy to do. Well, it's been more than a month now of me searching for a job almost every single day. I've only got, with an actual person, I've got not even one interview. I've only been able to talk to a few recruiters and do a few random AI generated assessments online. And I have not received any offers yet. So that has got me thinking, is software engineering done? Is that arc over? Has AI killed the industry? I feel sorry for the students that are in college right now, university, studying computer science, software engineering, because they're going to have a really, really rude awakening when they graduate and they have to compete against software engineers who are senior level searching for jobs, like myself. I really do think that this industry needs to be revamped. I think that AI has changed the landscape dramatically, and the opportunities that were there in the past are no longer, at least from my perspective, available. I could be wrong. I mean, I did get laid off during the holidays, so perhaps when the holidays are over, I'll see interest in me as a valid candidate for a high-paying career. But I remember back in 2021, 2022, 2023, my LinkedIn inbox was full of companies just trying to get me to interview with them, giving me crazy offers, all kinds of stuff. And in fact, when I go into my LinkedIn and look at my list of DMs, I see that it dried up in 2024. 2024 was the last year where I got any companies reaching out to me about available positions in their organization. 2025, there was not one message. And unfortunately for me, I got laid off in 2025. So now I'm searching for a job. I've been revamping. One thing that people don't tell you, and you should probably, I mean, in the back of your head, you know this, but as a software engineer, when you're working in a big company, you need to constantly be updating your skill set. It doesn't matter if you become a master of that particular skill at the company you work for. You could be a master of the domain and know everything about the product you're working on, everything about the code base. It doesn't matter because when you get let go, none of that actually affects you finding another job. You could be an expert at whatever internal tool you designed that you use every single day. You could be an expert in whatever application you've been working on. But when you try to find another job, that's not going to carry over. That code base, it's worth nothing. It's worth nothing. And you'll quickly realize that in the time that you spent at that company, you've fallen behind. At least that's what happened with me. I always considered myself a coding bro. I'm not one of these obsessed little software engineers that's doing like side projects every single weekend in their house, who's building their own little app on the side, who's collaborating with other engineers outside of work. I've always said, yo, I'm doing this as a job, and I have my other hobbies that I engage in outside of work. But now I'm seeing the folly of that way of thinking. And it makes me wonder, maybe engineering is not for me, right? Maybe engineering is just not for me. Because apparently, if you want to succeed in this landscape, you need to be constantly learning new technologies, constantly building new projects. If you stagnate, it's going to be very hard for you to find a job, especially with AI everywhere. With this whole job search that I've been engaged in, I've found myself having to go back to Leet Code, back to Hacker Ranks, and work my way through all of the problems, the algorithm problems that they have there. in order to revamp my skills in just data structures and algorithms alone. I haven't even really touched the updates to my tech stack that have happened in the 5 years that I was working. I've been just focusing on the basics, hoping that whenever job interview I get, they just ask me data structures and algorithms and I can work my way through a problem and get the job. But the truth is that I'm behind. And I guarantee if you've been working in the same company for more than 4 or 5 years, you're behind too, unless you're building projects outside in the real world, outside of work. And the truth is, when you're a student, I went through the same ebbs and flows as you. When I was a student, I was making projects all the time. I was building all kinds of apps for myself. I was going to meetups in my city with other engineers, real engineers. And I thought to myself, I'm going to continue doing this. But the truth is, once you get a job, once you land the job where you're doing this for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and you're no longer building a passion project, you're building something for someone else, it does become very draining. And you probably won't want to write code in your free time. You probably won't want to study whatever new libraries, new APIs have been released in your free time. And little by little, you're going to get more and more comfortable with that 6-figure salary. I hope you're getting a 6-figure salary. You better be getting a 6-figure salary. You're going to get more and more comfortable, and you're going to fall further and further behind. And that day when you get that awful call from HR and they let you go, hopefully with a good severance package, you're going to realize pretty quickly that you're out of date. That a new college grad knows more about the library than you do. And you're going to have to catch up and go through that whole meat grinder again to get the job. And with AI, it's just become even harder. Because when I got my job, I remember that almost every call I got was from a real person who I could talk to, have some sort of communication with, who understood my plight, who could rationalize whatever I was saying, who could identify with me as a person. But nowadays, it's not like that. So far, every single interview I've had has been AI based. They sent me to a website. There was some AI agent there who asked me questions, and you could tell it was AI. Or they just sent me to a leak code question, and then an AI sent me some random generated questions that I answered. I've yet to talk to any director of engineering, tech lead, even a base level engineer in any of these companies. And I've spoken to other people that were let go, and they've had it worse than me. Apparently, I'm the lucky one. I'm at least getting the calls. I'm at least getting the links sent to me from these companies saying, oh, we liked what we saw on your resume. Here's this AI test to do. The other people that I worked with and other engineers that I know that have no job, that are searching, they don't even get those. They're telling me I haven't gotten an email back in months, a response from anyone. So it makes me wonder, is the software engineering arc, the gold rush, over? Is it time to pivot? The truth is, I've kind of already began pivoting a little bit. I mean, I started making YouTube videos about other topics. I started trading futures. I'm going to make a whole video about me trading futures and how that's gone. Because if I sit here and wait, I might not be able to do it. And even so, even if I do it, do I want to do this again? Every 5 years, every 10 years, you're getting older. It's harder and harder and harder to keep up. The older you get, it's harder to keep up. So what? I get a job and the next time I get fired, I'm 40 something? Am I going to have to go back and learn a bunch of new things then? And then what? I get another job and I get fired again at 50 something? When does it end? Truth is, I got in at the best time, and I might be getting out at the best time as well. I made my money. I have a decent amount of money saved up. I could start a business. I could invest. There's a lot of people that aren't that lucky. There's a lot of people that just, They went through the last 5, 6, 7 years of this engineering arc just living crazy, spending all the money they got on insane stuff. Those people are screwed. I literally know a guy who was an engineer at the company I worked for, and now he does DoorDash. Can you imagine going from making a decent 6-figure salary to driving DoorDash to survive? You asked them, you didn't have any money saved up? No, they were just spending all the money as they got it. If you're in school for software engineering, you're in school for computer science, you better think long and hard if you want to stay in that career field. It's a very competitive career field, and it's always changing. And I really do think that this might not be the last cycle for me. Maybe I will go get a job at one of these big tech companies and be making a decent amount of money, but it sure as hell has to be the very, very last cycle after that, because AI is on the AI, competitive, realistic AI that will be able to do your job better than you is, I want to say it's already here, but I'll just be generous and say it's on the horizon. It's on the horizon. And if you don't wake up, if you don't lock in, if you don't try to pivot, if you don't refresh your skills, if you don't see what the new thing is, you might get left behind. You might get left behind. And that's a scary thought. You know, for the last 5, 6 years, I was living a life of luxury. I was driving supercars, buying expensive clothing, buying insane jewelry, being a dummy. But even I was smart enough to have some money saved. I really don't understand why some people they don't have the vision. And you know, the truth is, this video is more for you than it is for me, because I know I'm going to find the next big thing or come up with some idea and I'll be good. But maybe you won't. Maybe you won't. This video is a primer. I just want to see what other people think. I want to get some opinions from other engineers, other people in the industry. So please, please, please let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me. And also, if you know what the next big thing is, let me know that too. Let me know that too. You know, I want to say the next big thing would be studying AI and creating agents and all that stuff. But I really, and let me just leave this for you guys before I finish the video to make it clear. Because I know a lot of people are going to say the next big thing you mentioned it's AI. The problem with AI is recursive. So I really do think that even if you do learn AI, you learn how to do all the new agents and everything you need to learn, the next generation of AI will be able to do that. And if you learn how to manage the next generation of AI, the next generation after that will know how to do that. And it will just always be eating itself. So I think that AI is not, for me, I don't want to risk it, spend a bunch of energy, time, money, learning a new skill that's going to be gone in another 10 years. I think that, and I've had this argument with people before, I think that maybe the best route to go is to go in the physical direction and start a business doing something physical. Become a goddamn plumber. Start a plumbing company. Start a roofing company. I don't know. Something that AI is not going to be able to replace yet. Because it's coming there too. The truth is that human beings really aren't that special or unique. There's nothing that an AI agent and a robot can accomplish that a human can. So it's very scary. It's very scary. It's very scary. I would want to say entertainment, but that's a lie too. Because maybe AI jokes and AI humor is not entertaining to you now, your generation. But the younger generations are already getting accustomed to whatever's coming up. And by the time they're adults, they'll probably think that AI is hilarious. So we're cooked. We're cooked. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments. I really want to know. I'm curious. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and tune into my streams. I'm out. Take care.